Okay, good morning and welcome to Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is the second to last daf in Kesubos daf Kufiyat Aleph. It's all basically I got it. Talks about being buried in Eretz Israel. This daf supposedly better to live in Eretz Israel, better not to live in Eretz Israel. The Gemara discusses. I want to focus on something it says on Kufiyat Aleph and Base 111b, where it talks about the Gemara's discussion whether there'll be Tchias Mason for people that are not Osik B'Torah. Only if you the Gemara Darshans, right? Kol mishtamish b'or Torah. Anyone who uses the light of Torah in his life, or Torah mechayeho, that is gonna revive him from the dead. Kol shem mishtamish b'or Torah and Torah mechayeho will never be revived. No p'tchias amesim for him. Yochanan was very upset with it, and Rabbi Elazar said, "No, I found the takana. Masalam takana. Torah v'atem adveik Hashem l'kayim chayim kulcham yom." This Torah is towards the top of Kufiyat Aleph and Beis. Can you cleave to Hashem? Hashem is a consuming fire. You marry your daughter off to Talmid Chacham, and you give him a big apartment, apparently. You do business with him, give him great rates, right? Tomchei Torah. You let them benefit financially from you. They come to collect money in America. You open up your houses to them. You drive them around in your luxury car, in your Audi. So then it's considered benefiting from cleaving to Hashem, because even though you didn't do anything towards Hashem, but Talmidei Chacham are very close to Hashem because they have the Or Torah. So by clinging to Talmidei Chacham, so then they'll be able to cling to Hashem through the Talmidei Chacham. The Gemara says similar. How do you love Hashem? How do you accomplish being davik to the Shechina? Again, these three ways of doing business, marrying your daughter to Talmid Chacham, helping Talmid Chacham financially, that is a way to cleave to the Shechina. So it's hard to understand a little bit exactly over here, because what the Talmid Chacham, why is it that when you help a Talmid Chacham financially, which really all three of these things are basically saying, well, when you marry your daughter to Talmid Chacham, rich man, he marries daughter to Talmid Chacham and he supports him. That's probably what it's talking about. You give him cheap rates, Mahanim and a Chasab, you give him free rent in your house, let him stay there for free and drive him around and treat him like a king. Talmid Chacham, so that's Dibuk B'Shechina. Everyone, a lot of this daf, like all Agadita, is not meant to be taken literally. Everyone knows it. They say weird stuff in this Gemara, very strange stuff about, wheat the size of mountains. I mean, it's hard to take this stuff literally. Even the Art Scroll talks about, the Maharsha, trying to understand this one Agadita. Every Agadita we know not take literally. I is that even the drush of the regular halacha in the Gemara we shouldn't be taken literally. Also, literalism is a bad thing. Fundamentalism is a bad thing. Drush of the Torah is not the soda of the Torah. I've read this many times, but here we're talking about Agadita, which everyone, even in the yeshivish world, believes is not meant to be taken literally. The word Shechina I want to focus on over here. Medabik b'Shechina. Is Shechina a good thing or Shechina not a bad thing? Right? There's a lot of Shechina, someone who you're davening. You want to bring the Shechina when you daven. It talks about Shechina is a weird word. What does Shechina mean? Shochin, be your neighbor. I would like to say Shechina comes from the word Shekinah. Kinoi, like the Gemara says in Megillah, is a nickname. It's like the way we describe HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the Shechina is often associated, I've talked about this in the Real Me, the end of the Real Me, the lecture series I gave on the book The Real Me. The outro, I was talking about the difference. Really, what does Hashem want? Does He want you to serve Him, or does He want you to serve yourself? Is Avodas Hashem meant to be, who is Hashem, who is Elokim? I suggested maybe Yud Kei Vav Kei, you pronounce you, silent two H's over there. Hashem really is more interested in you serving yourself, and you perfecting yourself, doing everything for yourself. You worry about yourself. Hashem wants you to worry about yourself more than worry about Him. That's how I believe. And Shekinah, people make the mistake and believe that the whole purpose of life is avodas Hashem, serving God, because that's what it is. You'll end up being an Eved. a servant to God. A servant to God is not a great thing, even though I heard once from Yaakov Hillel, big Rosh Yeshiva here in Israel, who's into Kabbalah. He said there's nothing better than being an Eved Ivri, but an Eved Ivri, toward the Mishpatim, says really bad things about being an Eved Ivri. You want to go out of freedom, and if you want to stay for 49 years till Yovel, you're going to have to pierce your ear. These are not good things. Eved Ivri is a bad thing to be a servant. Where Avodim Mitzrayim for 400 years, you don't want to be Avodim. Avodim, that was the whole Bris Ben Absarim. Hashem was saying to be Avodim. Avodim is a terrible thing. To be Ben Chorin, like in Pirkei Avos, that's the highest level, to be for yourself. And the only way to do that is to serve yourself and to worry about yourself and to take care of yourself and worry about yourself more than Avodas Hashem. Doesn't mean you should neglect the mitzvahs, but ultimately the purpose of doing the mitzvahs should be for yourself and not for Avodas Hashem. So Shechina is people that believe that the kinoi, the nickname of Hashem, right? The nickname, right? When it says Yud Kei Vav Kei, so people think that's God, but really it's just a nickname. The real God is you. The real God is yourself. So that's it. The Gemara sometimes in Agadata is saying negative things. When you think it's a positive thing, it's saying negative things. People who attach themselves to Midachamim, Medabik B'Shechin is not a good thing. You don't want to cling to Avodas Hashem. You want to cling to yourself. That's really what you cling to. And, even though everyone thinks Talmid Chachamim and Tzaddikim are the ultimate level, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think Amaratim are so bad. I don't think Talmid Chacham are so good. I think you need a combination of both. You have to learn the Torah, and you have to be someone fluent in worldly affairs, because that's really how you understand the Torah through it. Where it says in Pirkei Avos, "Mein derech eretz," in Torah, derech eretz. You need both. Talmid Chacham are exclusive people who only spend their lives learning Torah. They ignore Amaratos, derech eretz. There's people who ignore Torah and they learn derech eretz, and that's what the Gemara is saying over here, that if you ignore one or the other, David B'Shechina, so if you want to, that's what he's saying. But Amaratzim, right? They don't learn Torah, but so they have Amaratzim, they have the worldly knowledge, but they have no connection to Torah. So therefore, they should associate with Talmidei Chachamim, because Talmidei Chachamim exclusively spend their time with learning and things like that. And by spending your time with them, you'll gain certain insights. If you hang out with Talmidei Chachamim, usually when they're going to talk to you about Torah, so you'll gain some Torah from them. You'll mix the two together. But ultimately, the Gemara is really saying a bad thing over here is that, right, Talmidei Chachamim themselves, you're medabik to the Shechina through the Talmidei Chachamim. Talmidei Chachamim are davak to Hashem, they're davak to Avodas Hashem, davak to the Shechina, davak to the Shechina, to the Yud Kei Vav Kei, Avodas Hashem, which is not a good thing. Most Talmidei Chachamim only talk about Avodas Hashem, which is a bad thing. If you want to be a complete person, you have to have both Amaratzis, the worldly knowledge, and the Chachma of the Torah. Not necessarily being a Talmud Chacham. Talmud Chacham, really, that's what it means, a beginner, a learner, a student of wisdom. Because you don't have full wisdom until you're engaged in Amaratzis and knowing about the worldly knowledge. So most Talmidei Chacham remain in that infancy stage their whole life. They're learning to be a Chacham, but they'll never get there because they ignore the worldly knowledge. So Medabik B'Shechina, I think, is a bad thing. It says Talmidei Chacham Medabik B'Shechina. Right, it's Malal Kosav Kilu Medabik B'Shechina. Right, if you stick around with Talmidei Chachamim, first of all, I don't think it's a great thing to be, helping financially Talmidei Chachamim if they're going to ignore derech eretz. I think it's the wrong hashkafa, the wrong philosophy. But it is a good idea to be around them, to learn a little bit of Torah. So having both is a good thing. Not having both is Eish Ochla, which is really Talmidei Chachamim are Eish Ochla. They'll be consumed by fire. But if you have both, then you could Malel al Kasav Medabik B'Shechina. Then it's like you're Medabik B'Shechina, but really you're servicing yourself, because someone who is worried about Torah knowledge and is worried about Amarat, Derech Eretz, about knowing about the world, he is someone that cares about himself. And therefore, it's like him Medabik B'Shechina, but he's not with the kinoi, he's with the real Yud Kei Vav Kei, the you, yourself. Hope you enjoyed today's share. I know it's revolutionary, and I hope people think I'm a kofar, but I really believe it's true. If you want to hear more about this, check out my lecture series, The Real Me, which just concluded this week. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.